Hey, it's Niamh of the Stay at Home Family, and I'm going to tell you 3 truths that most people don't tell you about home business. Things that people tell you after you've joined, but don't always let you know in advance. And I think these things are important because everyone can make a decision. Everyone can really go for a dream, but sometimes they kind of delude themselves as to what it's going to be like and what it's going to take to actually create what they want to create. And I believe that's why there's so much failure in the industry is simply inappropriate expectations, and also people not being willing to go through difficulty or be uncomfortable for any span of time. You know, we live in a world where when we're cold, we turn on the heat. When we're thirsty, we turn a tap and get water. When we're like 1 degree out of our perfect comfort zone, we're like, oh gosh, quick, get back into the comfort zone. And a lot of life, commercials, things coming at us are all about staying comfortable, staying safe, living small. And truthfully, sometimes there's great value to be had in being uncomfortable, in maybe practicing, well, when it gets cold, do you have to turn on the heat? Or maybe can you train your body to be able to deal with cold things, to be able to do something different and not have it be an immediate need to fix, to get back into small comfort zone. I think that's where most people live. So here's the 3 truths. Number 1, you're going to have to be willing to get uncomfortable. So that means that you might need to learn some new things. It might be new words, new skills, a new way of looking at the world. Sometimes it has to happen inside before it happens outside. And a lot of people will they'll start something and then they'll go, oh, you mean I have to learn something? And then get freaked out and run away. But you know what? You're never, ever, ever too old to learn. Okay, so learn something new, be willing to be a little bit uncomfortable. Number 2, you might have to sacrifice the very things that are creating your issue. So a lot of people join a home business because they want more time or they want more money. And then they're immediately faced with almost every single business you're going to have, every single business, you're going to have to either trade time or trade money to make it work. In most cases, to make it work quickly and work well, you're going to have to trade a little bit of both. That doesn't mean you have to go out and pay a franchise fee of thousands and thousands of dollars to be successful. It also doesn't mean that you have to spend 8 hours a day, 7 days a week to be successful. But right now, if you're hurting for time, realize that you're still going to have to carve out some time for your business. Quite often, it's a matter of being a little bit uncomfortable for a short space of time in order to create total freedom. And the cool thing is that you actually end up growing as you go. So that was number 2. Number 3 is that you have to realize change is kind of scary, that human beings are designed in a way that we like to know. We want to know, we want to have certainty as to what's going to happen next, even if it's not what we want. So quite often people will start something and then they'll actually self-implode and decide not to do it because it's such a scary feeling to them to be uncertain of what's coming next, that they go, okay, I'm uncertain if I'm going to be successful or not, so I'm just going to grab the certainty by the horns and quit so that I know, so then I failed, but I know that I failed, so I feel better, so uncertainty is more uncomfortable for most people than failure, so it's like you'd rather, if you're afraid of falling off the boat, you'd almost rather jump off the boat so that then you're not afraid anymore, because fear and uncertainty is worse than kind of the bad situation you could end up in. That's what happens for most people. So you want to fortify yourself against that by having a solid vision of the future, by knowing where you're going in advance, by saying, no matter what, I'm going to create the life I want. That's what we did when we first got into home business. It was all about me not having to return to work. It was like, okay, I was going on maternity leave and I knew no matter what, I wasn't going to go back to work. In the end, actually, what happened was I was still so caught up in this idea, this fear that I was going to end up back in Starbucks. I was on maternity leave. I was going, oh God, I'm going to end up back there. I'm going to end up back there. And I was so scared that it was like to the point where I was almost like, okay, I'm just going to give up and go back so that I don't have to worry about this anymore. And that's when Mike, my partner, told me, Niamh, you need to get rid of that possibility. This is the burning the boats, right? So what I did is I called them up and said, I'm not returning. So then my whole future was uncertain. I knew that no matter what, Starbucks was not what it was going to be. So then if everything was uncertain, there was no, no water to jump in. There was no fallback plan, which meant that if everything was uncertain, then I could choose which uncertainty, I could choose which outcome I wanted and go for that, because I was just living in a state of uncertainty anyway. So be comfortable with the idea that you're going to feel uncertain about your future some of the times, but when you have a solid vision of what you want it to be, you can still continue to move towards that. And when you feel uncertain, you go back into your vision of the future. Those are the 3 things you need to know before you start a business. 1, that you're going to be uncomfortable. 2, that you're going to have to sacrifice some stuff. It's going to take some work. I'm sorry, but it does. Even all the best no work push button systems in the world, they don't actually work unless you work them. The things that would are frankly illegal, and you want to be doing something that you can build a solid future on. Number 3 is you have to be comfortable with the idea that you're going to be uncertain some of the times, and create a vision that gives your internal being that sense of certainty, that sense of knowing where you're going, so that you don't spin out. Those are the 3 things that you need to know. And then obviously you need to pick something that's going to really work for you, that you're going to be working with people you enjoy working with, who are going to show you the way and be honest with you, not tell you, hey, it's going to be a walk in the park. You just pay money over here and then you're going to make money magically, mysteriously by doing nothing. When has that ever happened? Okay, so my suggestion to you is learn more about what I do. It might not be the perfect fit for you. You might look at it and go, yeah, actually I'm more comfortable just staying where I'm at. Or you might look at it and go, yeah, that is awesome. I'm willing to push through, to grow, to live with a little bit of uncomfortability to create my dream life. And if that's you, I invite you to click the link below this video and have a look at what we do. We're here, we're waiting for you, and we'll see you on the inside.